Forget your troubles, come on, get happy.
Welcome back to another NCAT movie review. Today we have Joker 2. You wouldn't believe it, it's a goddamn musical.
If you remember the ending of the Joker 1, obviously Arthur Fleck had been arrested, there was riots in the street, he had become a martyr, he'd become the greatest man alive. You'd think, all this momentum going into Joker 2, what could they possibly do with this character? Could they delve a little bit deeper into his Jokerness, and could he become potentially the Joker that we all know from different Batman mediums? Could this happen? No, it couldn't. Instead, we had Harley Quinn become the main character essentially, and them do singing numbers throughout the whole movie. Now, if you went into this movie thinking it was going to be a similar movie to the first Joker, which, let's be honest, you go into a sequel, you think that's going to happen, you would be mistaken. Unfortunately, everything that made the original Joker beautiful just wasn't enough in this movie. There were spurts where you would think, Joaquin Phoenix, God, he's putting on a great performance. The source material is great. And that would happen for 2, maybe 3 minutes. Next thing you know, musical number. And this would just continuously happen throughout the movie. There was countless times where Josh and I in the cinema, a scene would happen where it was quite either poignant or it would be quite deep for Joaquin Phoenix's character, or it would show the Arthur Fleck that we liked so much in the original movie, and then a musical number would come on and we just looked at each other like, again? Really? You can have musical numbers in movies and it works, but in this one, it was just overdone. I mean, okay, the soundtrack was great. The music they chose, really good, but also completely random. They had no meaning to the movie whatsoever. They were all songs done by artists already in the past, and it just didn't really make any sense when the song came on. You were like, what has this got to do with the plot? Now, the reason there was the musical numbers in this movie is because every time Arthur's personality sort of split and he sort of wanted to forget where he was right now and go into sort of the Arthur Fleck that turns into the Joker, instead of turning into the Joker, it would become his imagination, and he would imagine in this world that he and Harley, aka Lady Gaga, were singing and dancing, and he was this confident Joker guy, and he wasn't the Arthur Fleck that was on trial for most of this movie, or the Arthur Fleck that was in the mental asylum, that was really this nobody who all the confidence he had gathered from the end of the first Joker had completely worn off. And the reason that it's like this is because the movie jumps 2 years from the first Joker to this Joker, and so all the momentum and all the confidence, everything that Arthur had gained from the ending, when he kills Robert De Niro's character, when he riots in the street and all the people are loving him, that's all gone. He's back to being normal old Arthur Fleck.
What did they garner? Like $1 billion for the first Joker? $1 billion that these people made, and they want to regress now Joker back to Arthur Fleck being initially what we've seen in the first Joker. I don't understand where the character development comes from when you build such great lore and everyone loves his first movie. Listen, I understand that everyone says it's going to be a musical. They said it early. It's not going to be like the other Joker. But why would you go down that route? It would build, like Jordy was saying, a very poignant scene. The storyline and the plot twist it was doing was great. It was really good. And then it'd just be completely destroyed by them singing. I think that makes the biggest difference to this film. If it was just no musical, no nothing, and a normal story building scene, oh my God, this movie would be $2 billion grossed. That's how good it would have been. Now, as we said at the start, is it the worst movie of the year? Not even close. That still might be Borderlands, by the way, for the worst movie of the year.
Definitely is Borderlands. Definitely.
But at least this one, Joker had really, really good building scenes and really good acting from Joaquin, really good acting from Lady Gaga, but it shouldn't have been a Harley Quinn movie or a Lee Quintal movie. The movie's called Joker. I barely see Joker. I think he's literally in there, spoiler alert by the way, for 5 to 10 minutes of the actual Joker. What the fuck am I watching this film for? I'm not watching it for Lee Quintal. I'm watching it for the Joker. Bring him back on the screen, make him torment everyone like he did in the court scene. That was the only good scene of this whole goddamn movie. And leave it at that. Build it from there. Why are we starting back to plot 1? We've seen plot 1. We want to see now plot 2. We want to see the second act. This is bullshit. Todd Phillips, you know better.
Did Joaquin Phoenix and Lady Gaga put on a good show? Yes, they did. Every scene they were in was great. You sort of get the feeling when this movie finishes that the whole movie was created for that one scene at the end. And if you've seen the movie, you'll know what we're talking about. When you see the movie, you'll know what we're talking about. And that's sort of what this whole movie felt like it was for. The moniker of Joker isn't just one person. It's a personality. It's a thing. It's like a sentient being. When you think about, he has no origin story, and he's just this person who they never really had to do an origin story for him, because it's all we care about is that he's the Joker. He's the complete opposite to Batman. That's what we love. It was also going for the fact that, Arthur Fleck was never the Joker, but still, I think Joaquin Phoenix, given the chance, could have been a really good fucking Joker. They gave Jared Leto 2 movies. Give Joaquin Phoenix, this guy who is so good. I mean, his body acting in this, man, you know he's going to go the extra mile to do really well. I feel like they should have just gone, let's see what he can really do as sort of this crazy Joker on one side, and then Arthur Fleck, who hates what the Joker makes him do, but he does it anyway because he has no control of it. The split personality, that would have been cool, but no. Instead, they went down this whole, he was never the Joker, and that's the whole point of the first movie and second movie, is that it was all a facade for him to act like a normal person. Like, come on.
How deep he got into his method acting in this film was unbelievable. I've heard a little rumor that he was only smoking and eating an apple a day or something to get into that type of body. I don't want to say shape, because he wasn't in shape. And that's why he won the Oscar. I mean, it's clear as day. Give him another Oscar for this. If they just cut the singing, it would have been Oscar worthy, I think. Listen, Lady Gaga, we all love her songs. We all love Poker Face, all that. Great. Let's not make her sing in every movie she's in. Give her a break. It should not be in her contract, if it is, that she should sing. Make this a normal fucking movie and just let's move on with it. I can't tell you how angry I am that every scene that was building up was so good, and then it'd just be absolutely destroyed by a singing note. Now, the first couple of times, it's fine. You're like, okay, maybe it's showing how crazy Joker is. Maybe it's showing a little bit of a story building moment or scene. Then it got way too much. It's so overzealous. It's used like every 5 minutes. And you just think to yourself, I didn't buy a concert ticket. If I did, I would go see Lady Gaga and she can bring Joaquin out as a second act. That's great. I paid for a Joker movie. I want to fucking see a Joker movie.
And some of the singing acts they did were really good. Like, there was a certain scene where Joker's sort of doing this dance move in the Joker way that we saw, when he was dancing up the stairs in the first film, when he went on Robert De Niro's talk show in the first one. It was kind of good, but they just didn't really tap into that whole overconfident Joker that we saw in the first movie a little bit of. When you think, we're going to come in here and see that in this film, we just didn't see it. And when you see Joaquin Phoenix do that walk, when he goes from Arthur Fleck to the Joker, he's got that confident walk. It's so cool to watch him do that, because it's like a completely different person, and yet we didn't see it. And every time it popped up on the screen in this one, maybe for like 30 seconds, you were like, oh yeah, give us some more of that. But no, you hardly even see it.
That's true though. When he gets into that swagger, when he gets into the
swagger,
Joker,
that's what it is, yeah.
When he gets into that Joker method acting, it's next level. Like
Yeah.
that's what makes the movie as well. It's not just the story building of how good it was. It's literally the dedication to the acting. And you can say that by Lady Gaga too. Her acting was phenomenal in this. Just the problem is, the movie's not titled Harley Quinn. That's the only problem with this film.
Yeah, this movie should be called Arthur Fleck Leans Back with a Cigarette in His Hand and Blows Smoke in the Air, really model-like. Because honestly, you saw the still shot of him doing that so many times. This is what I thought when I was watching the movie. This is one big cigarette ad, this movie. They are smoking every single scene, whether it's in Arkham Asylum, whether it's in the courtroom, whether it's in the prison, Lady Gaga, Joaquin Phoenix, everyone's smoking. It's all smoking in this. It's literally Marlboro Light ad.
Marlboro Light ad. The cinematography was at an all-time high. It's so on point with these films that they show you how good the surrounding is of Arkham, how good the cells are, how good some of the still shots are, even to the point where they were using like the Joker's colors, even subliminally. He's walking from cell to cell and they have umbrellas and it's all different colors. And that shot was just magnanimous watching that.
The umbrella shot was bloody beautiful, the way they did that with his colors. Once again, it was a moment with Arthur Fleck where it wasn't swaggered out at that moment, but he was sort of just walking. That's when when it's so cool when you got the Arthur Fleck walking moment. We just didn't see enough of it.
Zack Snyder, that's how you use slow-mo, by the way.
Sort of similar to Josh's point about the cinematography. If you know the video games, if you know Batman anything, Arkham Asylum has been done so many times, especially for me in video games like the Arkham Asylum and Arkham series, where I watch it and I'm like, I just imagine how cool of a place Arkham must be. In this movie, it touches on that a little bit. Not as cool as it is in the video games, but it definitely went for that One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest vibe, where there's a couple of inmates that are crazy. There's a couple of inmates, that are playing the pretend instruments and they get Arthur Fleck going. You have that feeling of they're all trying to rise up against the guards because the guards are treating them like shit. And I kind of like that aspect of the film. It's like we've been saying this whole time. In those moments, the film was great. They could have delved really deep into the delusion and the craziness of Arthur's mind, and also how much was real, how much wasn't. And instead, you knew what was real and what wasn't, because they would just randomly start singing and dancing. They could have delved into these sort of like Shutter Island, where you're not quite sure what's happening in regards to, is it reality, or is it not? Who is this really happening to the character? Is it not? But no, instead, they just went all out on we're just going to go with the fake dancing and singing, and just, this is Arthur's imagination and this is who he wishes he was. So they missed a trick there. Like we've said in this review, Todd Phillips, I don't think he really wanted to make this movie. It's well known that he wanted to have a standalone Joker movie. But it goes without saying that there were great scenes, like we've mentioned in this, from Joaquin and Lady Gaga. But you've also got to give a special mention to Lee Gill, who plays Gary Puddles. Now, he's from the first first movie. He is the clown worker who works with Arthur, who he spares his life because he was always nice to Arthur and Arthur was nice to him. There's a scene that he has in the courtroom when he's on trial, which was just honestly one of the most gut-wrenching scenes you're ever going to watch in a movie. And I think these are the moments where we cannot possibly say this is the worst movie of the year, because movies that are worst movies of the year don't have great scenes like this. The acting that not just Lee did, but also Joaquin Phoenix did towards Lee, unbelievable. They deserve their props because it had you thinking to yourself like, wow, this is where this movie could have gone. But then lo and behold, 2 minutes after that scene, there was a musical number, and it's just like, damn, we're back to this stage again. So it wasn't all bad. That's what I'm trying to get at.
As always, guys, we end these reviews with a rating. And listen, this movie's watchable. I think that's the biggest question out of all these reviews that people watch and people are saying, is this movie watchable? Should you go see it? If you're into musicals, definitely. If you're waiting for Joker, unfortunately, you're not going to get it. But it is watchable movie if you just can somehow get past these goddamn musicals.
Yeah, honestly, it's a streaming movie, this. Would I recommend to go and watch it? Probably not. Only because you're not going to get the feeling that you got from the first Joker film if that's what you're going to see this movie for. If you hadn't seen the first movie, I mean, you might enjoy this movie if you were a fan of Lady Gaga, but I'm not sure what Todd Phillips was going for, so maybe he got what he wanted. I don't know, but unfortunately, we were sort of hoping for Arthur Fleck to be the man. I don't get it. It was a movie to show that the Joker isn't one person, it's a moniker, it's a mask to wear, like he wears the makeup. That's what it is. I get it. So
if you guys like the review, don't forget to drop a like and a subscribe.
Question of the day, who's your favourite DC villain? For me, this is a strange one, only from the video games, but it's the Mad Hatter. I used to love his missions.
Wow, what a great fucking call. Mine's the Reverse Flash. The guy's an absolute menace.
Yeah.
Or Zoom.
Facts.
Anyway, guys, this has been another End Cut movie review. Peace, we out.
Peace.
And cut.